At this pivotal time in humanity's evolution, we are beginning to remember our organic technology. A technology, when used correctly, can create an experience that the majority of people the world over want to live. It is time to use this technology consciously for our own benefit and healing, and no longer unconsciously for our own demise. We are divine creatures, creating both our own personal and our collective experience, moment to moment. We invite you to join us in the reawakening of this technology through experiment and experience the power to create and manifest. Become part of the 3%, the collective imagination.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Lisa Harrison. Welcome to the Collective Imagination Show for this week. And I'm sure it's going to be another fun-filled, action-packed program. We have lots of people calling in to share their stories, give some updates on what's been going on in the world and in their world over the last week. And I just wanted to share with you my feelings last week after last week's show. I really got how this program, at least for me, has been a beautiful reflection of where I feel that we've been at in general. You know, when we first started this show in the middle of last year, we were a little bit lost. It took us a while to find our feet, and I think that's where we were at collectively. You know, we were in the middle of 2012. Lots of expectation for the year, not really sure where we were going and what was going on. It seemed quiet on some fronts and very busy with speculation, but nothing concrete. And then we launched the show on the 5D Media Network, and we had Peter and Michael joining us as regulars on that show. And we went through a period of several months of really putting into practice the collective imagination, the technology that is, and remembering how to use it, relearning how to use it. We used experiments from week to week to ignite that our memories and our imaginations and restore our confidence. And excuse me, and we started to think about and put our energy towards what we really want the world to look like. What does it look like post-2012? What does it look like without the cabal and the power structures that are currently in place? And we really started to play with that and play with our imaginations. And then we ended the show on a really high note with the countdown, you know, really focused on a daily basis for 10 days. And then we come back at 2013 and find the world has changed and the show has changed as a result. And we've been here now where what we're doing is sort of observing and sharing the ways in which those changes and the work that we put in last year have manifested and are manifesting. And it's just a beautiful thing to be a part of. And this year we will also be, and I know that we're going to have some really great things to talk about over the next coming weeks, because what we're those of us in the crew here are experiencing are insights and actual physical experiences about these new abilities that are coming on board, telepathy and the technology for that, the manifestation, creating our reality and the technologies behind that as they're evolving and changing, and we're experiencing them and playing with them and having a lot of fun with them. So we're going to be talking a lot about that too over the coming weeks, including today. And I just, before I go any further, I'll bring everybody else out, bring the rest of the crew out. Barbara in New York, you with us?
I am. I'm exhausted by what you just said.
Are you? Sorry.
Why? because I'm like, yes, and it's like I felt like I was running down a track going, she's right. It's like I kept going faster and faster. You have me all revved up.
Oh, good, excellent, great place to be for the start of the show. And we've got Chris in Melbourne.
Morning, everybody. Another fantastic day down here. We've gotten past the fires around here, but the floods up north are creating a little bit of hassle. Not a little bit, a lot of hassle, actually. It's not quite as bad as a couple of years back, but not far from it. But that's, that will pass. And look, your references to what's happened in the past year, really, did all that happen? It seems, It just, as I said, I think, in one of the shows last week, think about where you were a month ago and the things that have happened since with the OPPT, but think about a year ago where you were. Go back a year, and that's a different universe to me. Quite extraordinary.
It's a whole other reality.
And the rate of change is going vertical. If anyone's heard of the Kurzweil singularity, where the rate of change goes vertical, I think we're not far from it. I think it's about to go ballistic. So hold on to your hats, folks.
Hold on to your hats. Yeah, speaking of the Queenslanders, unfortunately, a lot of them are still in recovery from what took place 2 years ago, and now they've just been hit again. So love goes out to them, to all of them.
Indeed.
And Bob in Pennsylvania.
Hello, everyone. And if everyone can't recognize my voice, it's because I have a new microphone. Thanks to a gifting from Lisa. Thank you. And I could only echo what you guys said. More is happening in a day than what used to happen in a year 5 years ago. It's crazy how things are developing, and the physical things, we're going to talk about some of that tonight, but it's just it's an amazing time to be alive, and I am glowing with effervescent light.
Oh, I can just imagine it. We already have some people on the line waiting to come through, so I think we actually have Lois Tucci again with us. Lois, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Ah, lovely. I'm glad you could join us again.
Well, thank you.
And I'm not sure who else we've got in here. I'm going to have a try. Who's area code 707?
Hi, that's me. I'm calling with a question.
Oh, okay.
Are you ready to take a question?
Sure, let's go.
Okay. Well, on another program you were talking about how the One People's Public Trust gives us the financial freedom to do what we want with our lives, and so I'm wondering how and when can we actually get funds to actually be financially free to to make that a reality.
Lois, do you want to take that one?
Well, there's still a lot that has to happen before that comes about, but it's not going to be like we envision. It's not going to be monetary. It's going to be probably more of a digital type thing. But Heather has more on that than I do, so that's all I can add at this time. But it is coming.
Do you have any idea, like, how
Sorry,
long
caller,
that
what was your name?
Deborah.
Yeah. Things are happening very, very fast, and I'm sure, as you can imagine, there's a lot of infrastructure and, behind-the-scenes goings-on that need to be put in place, and we also need to be, as the general public, we also need to be well-informed about all of our options in order to make educated free will choices about how to move forward and what to create and what it's going to look like. And we don't know enough yet. The information is still coming, and it's going to come in thick and fast over the next few weeks and months. And I know firsthand how much everybody is hurting. And we all want a solution yesterday. But jumping in too soon without enough information and without the proper infrastructure isn't really going to serve us in the long run. So, as much as I hate to say it, hold tight.
And Lisa, that people are predicting a lot of things out there right now. It's going to be this time. It's going to be that time. It's just not set yet. It's done, but it's the release of everything. There has to be other things done. I think there's one more thing that has to be done before it's completed.
And I think to a large degree we'll know once it's done.
Yes.
There are some aspects of it that once they're done, that's when we'll find out about it. And there are many others where our contribution will be needed. So information and awareness is what we all need, and education. So it's going to be a bit of a process.
Mhm. Okay. Well, thanks a lot.
No, you're welcome, and thanks for calling in.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Do you think I answered that okay? Is that pretty accurate?
Yes, that is really accurate.
Oh, good. And we've got area code 316. Area code 316. If you're in the queue, just say hi. It may be you.
Hi, it may be me. It's Suzanne.
Hi, Suzanne. How are you?
I'm fabulous. Grateful.
Did you have a comment, a question, or are you just listening? Or
No, I'm hanging out, listening. It's good to know I can pop in a question if I need to, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
I'm processing a lot of information. I think that goes unsaid for all of us.
It does, yes. Well, just mute yourself if you don't mind, so we don't pick up any background noise, and you can unmute when you have a question.
Okay, if I have...
If we get too many people on the line, I may have to mute you because it just doesn't handle too many open mics at one time. But we'll see how we go.
If you don't mind, because I don't know how to do it, and I can't get you up online, so that's why I had to call in. Was just to hear the program because I can't get it to function on the computer. Sorry.
And Lisa, she can always raise her hand by hitting 1 at any time on her phone.
Oh, okay. You do that.
Yeah.
Okay. And area code 215. Area code 215?
Yeah, that's me. No questions at this time. This is Derek. Hey, Bob.
Hey, how you doing, Derek? I'm glad you finally made it on the show.
Yeah, only by phone. Computer's something wrong with it.
Okay, Derek, the same for you, darling. If you have a question, just hit 1. Otherwise, I'll mute you.
Okay, not a problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we've got area code 479.
Oh, that's me.
Who's me?
This is Sarah. I'm in Arkansas, and I did not realize that I didn't push 1, so I don't have my hand up.
That's okay.
But I also could not get you on the computer, so I called in so I could hear the show. It's not functioning when you go to Blog Talk and click on. It doesn't come through on the computer.
Well, that's interesting.
I had that same problem, but when I refreshed, it worked.
Interesting. Well, I just called in, and I thought, well, I can just listen because the thing says, if you want to ask a question, push 1. But I don't have a question. I got lots of questions. Sure, I could. But that's,
Well, we like to surprise people now and again, Sarah. So we just push the button just to see who was on the call and mess with your head a little bit.
Oh, well.
We're also expecting Dee to call in and possibly Brian Kelly and a few others. So I'm just making sure I'm not leaving them hanging there. So I will mute you, and if you do want to come pipe in, just press 1.
Well, let me while you got me on, let me just ask this. I think you answered my question a moment ago saying that all the information is not in yet, and that was, I think, the simple fact that it's not all in yet, I think, is what's causing a lot of angst for a lot of people, including me, because I'm hearing bits and pieces of do this and don't do that, and this is not necessary, and yes, it is, and, there's a swarm of, stuff that people are trying to sort out, that needs to be addressed by somebody in the know, besides, the all of us trying to guess, and because there's a flurry building, I can feel it, and I'm in it, and I'm just as confused as anybody, and I am under the impression that the biggie has been done, and it's just a matter of letting people, getting the masses to understand it. For one thing, sounds monumental to me, and if that's what we're waiting on, with no other information offered, then we're going to be waiting a long, long time. But I'm hoping that there is more information coming that's going to jumpstart that next phase, which I sincerely hope is on the way. And if that's the case,
there is more information coming, absolutely. It keeps coming. And I think, the reason why there's a lot of confusion out there is because, a solution was presented and everybody jumped on it.
Exactly.
And tried to, do what they've done in the past with previous attempts at this kind of thing,
And there are several different layers of things going on at the same time also that are confusing people, and I see multiple layers myself where I can see this one's partially true, but you put another one on top of it and it wipes that out and changes it. And it's like all relative to time, it's relative to the position of, what's bigger than the other thing, and, all of it's true from a certain perspective, but you change that and it gets real complex and real confusing. So I'm really looking forward to some clarity and some, something pretty quick, because I know there's a lot of people out there hurting, and if they just knew that 2 months from now everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, I know.
Or
I know.
6 months, or whatever it is, or some kind of general ballpark guess as to to keep people from waiting for tomorrow, for goodness sakes, because it's not going to happen tomorrow.
Does anybody want to say? Yeah, I'm just going to mute you, Sarah, and I'll bring Bob out.
Okay.
Well, I want to talk to Sarah a little bit. Sarah, are you there?
Hang on, Bob. Yes, she's there.
Okay. Sarah, what is it that you do?
Well,
for a living? What is it that you would love to do when you get this freedom to do what you love to do?
I'm doing it right now, Bob, and I've been doing it for 3 years. I unplugged from that system. I said, this is a beast, and I refuse to feed it anymore. And if I can do it, somebody else can do it, and it has to start somewhere. I don't mind being the first one, and I will jump out there. I will jump off that cliff and wait for the angels to come and pick me up, because you don't see the angels until after you jump off.
That's right.
And I have seen those angels, and I have been floating for 3 years with no income. I used to work in a corporate job at a decent job, but it was still slave. But I said I'm not, it was still corporate, and it was still, the Nazi programmed, don't get me on my soapbox.
What was it?
Unplugged from that.
What was it that motivated you to leave all of that behind?
It was the truth burning inside of me.
There you go.
That I knew all along. I have been a seeker for 25 years. I've been awake most of my life. I'm 61 now, and I have.
And I imagine your life has changed dramatically since you made that choice.
Well, it's changed certainly, but what happened was I lost my house to foreclosure. I lost everything in it because whatever I could salvage, I sold for food. I lost all of my family, including, I was like literally looking at homelessness, and I went to my mother to see if I could store my stuff, what was left of it, in her garage, and she was like 97 years old with a 4-bedroom house that's empty and needed somebody there to oversee her. And she looked me in the face and said, "You're crazy. I don't like you. I want you living here." And that was the biggest bomb I ever had dropped on me. And I said, okay, by God, if I can live through that, there ain't nothing that can put me down. And I just have been going ever since on safe. And every month it's been different. But I have never gone hungry. I have had a roof over my head. And I do have a very, very strong positive angel that came into my life shortly before that, which was a bizarre thing in itself. But it was
okay, Sarah, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about, and this is for everyone, not just Sarah.
Right. I don't.
All of us have over this period of time. All of us have been motivated to take action because we recognized that something was wrong. Something was not right with the way the world was going, and you felt the oppression of it. All of us are feeling the oppression of it. But I want to talk a little bit more about this beingness and why it's so important. Because Heather talks about this beingness, and we talked about it on the show in Santos Bonacci a couple of days ago, but I want to expand upon that. When we're talking about beingness, we're talking about the same thing that motivates people to leave their jobs. It's about being true to yourself, your authenticity. And there's so many things in our lives right now that prevent us from being ourselves, for being who we really are and who we want to be. And that could be religious doctrine. It could be fear of judgment. It could be guilt. It could be aspects of ourselves that we look as being negative, shameful, or dark. And these things, they keep us, from being what our authentic self is. Because when you're being, and we've all talked about, how to manifest on this show. The show is called A Collective Imagination, and it's all about manifesting your reality and choosing what you want. But when on the higher levels, creation doesn't happen that way. It's much simpler than that. On the higher levels, there is no need to create anything, because when you are being authentically yourself, expressing yourself in your true beingness, what it is that you are, what it is that you love to do, what it is that makes you you. And that's what everyone's searching for when they're looking for relations, looking for an environment or someone that will allow them to be them without judgment, without shame, without guilt, without excuses. But when you're in that beingness, there's no need to make any intentions. There's no need to make any creation, because everything that you need to support that beingness is instantly there for you. What's happening, we're saying we have a lot more being to do. There are a lot of people that are right now being something that they're not. One of the things that you can understand is you are a billionaire. That information is there. Even though the money's being held for you right now, you are a billionaire. And you are abundant and you are free. You need to take some time to incorporate, because it took me about a week. I don't know how incorporating those ideas into your beingness. And when you start to recognize those facts, it resonates out, because you are being true to yourself. You're being your authentic self, and this is how all this is created, by people moving into their beingness. And this may mean that you leave your job. It may mean that relationships will change, because certain things around you may prevent you from being authentic. And as we approach this change, as this vibration is being integrated into the earth and into the planet, and telepathy starts to get a little bit stronger, there's no way that you can't. Everything's going to be transparent. So there's not going to be any secrets. So the more you can move into your authenticity, because I assure you, If the universe did not need you here, you wouldn't be here. You would not be here. And you wouldn't be listening to these words if you are not part of the creation of what is manifesting here. So everyone, when Heather said that the powers that be have been held at bay, in other words, if there's anything impending upon you, there is action that you can take so that your home is not foreclosed on, so that these debt collectors will not impinge on you anymore, although the funding is not available. And you may need help with, establishing, but this is only a temporary thing, because as this information starts to come out and this disclosure, because it makes no sense, Sarah, to just give everybody $1 billion without any instructions, without any guidelines, and especially without the disclosure of why this is happening, because people need to understand all of that information. And this is the largest legal case in human history. So there's a lot of information to process. You're talking about not just about the corruption in the financial and in the judicial and governmental and social structures, but also you're talking about our true history, where it is that humanity come from and who it is that you really are. And when you understand who it is that you really are, that you are a divine creator, you're going to understand how important that beingness is. So for everyone who is suffering, and I understand that there's lots of things that are still impending on people, we need to make that shift into that understanding that, all of this stuff is going away. There's no point in me worrying about it. I know that I'm free. I know that I'm abundant. And then you take action from that state, not from the state of, oh my God, what the hell am I going to do? I'm going to lose my house. In that state of being, that's an uphill battle. But now there's information there available for everyone, and it's clear and it's perfected that those powers that be are corrupt, and they are engaging in a breach of trust against the people. And they have been terminated, foreclosed, caused to exist, done. The resources are in the name of the people. Embody that. And once you start to embody those ideas, you will see the transformation happen faster. And I invite everyone to step into that beingness and that act of unconsciously creating, because there's no need, because you're being authentic. You're doing what makes you happy. You're feeling what makes you happy, brings you joy, and in that authenticity, things manifest hundreds of times faster than doing it the old way. So everybody needs to process those things that prevent you from being your true self, that prevent you from stepping into your authenticity. And it's very, very important. It's extremely important. And this is what Heather means. There's a lot more being that needs to be done.
Well, thank you, Guru Bob. That was brilliant.
Yes, beautiful. Now,
I think we've also got Lois and a couple of the others wanting to come out again. Before you do type in there, Chris, I'd like to just bring Lois out again.
Sure.
Lois, you there? Lois? Lois, you there?
I still see. There we go. I still saw her as muted.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Oh, great. I agree. The beingness is very, very important. We have a lot of magnetic fields around us, and being in the positive and being in the creation, like I wake up every morning and say to myself, and you know what? All around this world there's always morning, correct? When you wake up in the morning, what am I going to create today? What do I want the world to be? Is a real important question to me. What energies am I going to play with today? What energies am I going to notice today? Because we have to get into that realm of knowing that everything is alive, everything. Gold, silver, walls, chairs, everything has energy. And when that magnetic fields are in a negative form, it'll collapse on itself. It'll destroy itself. So you don't want to be in the negative. You want to be in the positive and always creating and knowing who you are and knowing that back to Prime, what source, and he has free will also, what source wanted for us and what source created for us. That all has to go in and has to come to your knowledge. And that all will come. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Absolutely. Beautifully said. Now, Chris.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a few comments to Bob's train of thought, is that this event will happen when we're ready for it. The conversations that we're having on this show, the conversations you're having with your friends, the energy that's generating is what will actually bring the next event to fruition. And this is exactly what Bob and Heather are talking about. Embodying what it will take to live in that realm will create that realm. Yeah, the process of creation is ours, and it always was. And understanding that and accepting that, step one, and then actually taking that space and being there, that's what will get us over the line. And as we were at the start of the show looking backwards and saying, wow, a year ago, we were different people. And we lived through a whole year of expectation and speculation and a lot of positivity, actually, as the year went on. And that positivity is what I think resulted in the People's Trust being able to move forward behind the scenes to the point where they could eventually complete this part of the work and put the filings up. And as a result of that, it's generated a whole new level of energy, a whole new level of awareness. And we're moving forward now to an even bigger event, which is the public recognition, the actual public launch, if you like, of this information into the main sphere of the body of the planet. And we're the people who are actually generating the energy to allow Heather and her co-workers to do the work in the background to move this to the next step. And I know it's really frustrating because people have problems now. And the filings themselves can be used now to deflect and delay, and in some cases will just stop dead. Things are going on in court and around you. But the real work is really us just knowing that that's our destination. Because that knowing, drop again, that knows what's going to get us there. And I thank Sarah for calling in, because this is a subject that we really needed to get into straight away, and we did.
Yeah, we did. And, we talk about how to spread the word, or, how people are going to wake up. And the documents themselves actually do that on a number of levels. You can't read those documents and see the solution without having to then understand and recognize what the problem was. And for those documents to make sense, you need to understand the backstory. They also work, I found, on a number of levels, including, a sort of higher dimensional level where you need to raise your own vibration to even understand them. So they're even a spiritual tool. And just sharing those documents, print out copies if you have to, and leave them lying around for people to read. That in itself is a huge process for people to go through, and one that will bring them up to speed pretty quickly. But they are a tool. They're a great tool. My phone just went off. Just as there have been many tools over the years that have helped us get to where we are now. These are a fabulous tool, with or without filing paperwork, with or without, going to the UCC and filing your own documents. The ones that are there are a brilliant tool of awakening. And I do want to bring out 828 just in case it's D. Area code 828. Are you there? Hello. Okay, and we do have someone else, Stefan. Stephanie, you there? Sounds like connection issues, actually.
Lisa, could I bring out one more of the greatest tools ever?
Yes.
The greatest tool that anyone has lays within themselves. If you have questions or you want answers, all you have to do is be quiet, go within yourself, and ask, and this beautiful thought and answer will come across to you. That's the greatest tool you have because it's the direct connection to source.
It is, absolutely. Absolutely. And we've been playing with different techniques for enhancing and practicing, and having fun with things like telepathy. Bob, you want to share what you've been doing lately?
Well, I've been doing is I've been sending mental text messages. I just imagine sending a text message, whatever message it is that I want, into to whomever it is I want, and I mentally hit send, and I know that they're going to receive it, just like if I had sent it for real. And I just did it about an hour ago, Chris, and I sent a text message to my friend mentally to please go on Skype, and within 10 seconds he came on.
Yeah, that happened when we were talking.
It's good fun.
That is good fun. I love that.
Now, we've also got area code 661. Area code 661. If you're in the queue and you think it might be you, just say hello. Area code 6... No.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello. This is Heather.
Hello.
Hey, Heather.
Well, welcome.
I don't know if it's me. I'm calling from Skype, so I have no idea what the area code is.
Well, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Hi, sweetie.
Hi. I heard one of your callers was asking about timing regarding the financial system, and just when I was going to hop on to assist at least with that question, my whole internet crashed. So I'm not sure if that is, certain groups that don't really want that answer questioned, or if that was me and my internet.
Oh, do you want to give it a go now?
Yeah, that would be great. I guess the best way to put it is in context of another situation where the answers were all visible, and it was a matter of the collective conscious, the people wanting that answer to be visible. And there was a situation more in the medical field where, I don't know if you guys have heard of zeolites, when the volcanoes go off, the lava goes down and creates zeolites. So these zeolites, they've been able to empty them out and use them and put them into the body so that they can capture all of the toxins inside the body naturally. So it's like a natural chelation therapy session. And so I'm sitting with one of they have a pyramid type structure, and this Jubilee diamond, whatever, very high up woman, and I were talking about the humanitarian side of things and the ability to make sure that this wonderful product, natural product, gets out to all the people. And I did a lot of research on it so I could assist them in figuring out how best to get this out for everyone and make it so that those that had the ability to buy the product were also helping those that didn't have the ability to buy the product. And as I was going through the research, I found that actually the zeolites were helping get rid of all the cancer toxins, the cancer cells. They were actually transmuting the cancer cells, as well as some other type of scientific research having to do with mercury poisoning and aluminum poisoning and everything else. Well, they brought the chemist over to meet with me as well as the vice president of this company, and it was doing really, really well. And I gave them the structure of how to actually do the financial side of it so that everyone on the planet could have access to it. And they told me, you know what, Heather, we went to a marathon. One of these, one with the pink bows. Can't remember the name of it. Susan.
Like a breast cancer support one.
Well, yeah, it's a huge marathon that people know about globally now. And so they were saying that they set up a booth to explain this to everyone, and they actually got physically attacked by those that were running in the marathon. And what they explained to me was, if the people are not ready for a cure, then the system that actually knows the cure exists, meaning the breast cancer research societies and the American Health Association and everyone else, they're going to use that illusion, that deception, to get the people to discredit the data. So basically they were telling me, they're out there explaining to everyone, hey, there's a cure to cancer. And nobody wanted to hear it. And the directors of the actual marathon were, they had some people down there because they knew that they were going to be there. So they had people from the American Health Association down there monitoring the situation, but the people took care of it, they said. The people actually went in and beat these guys up, kicked their table over and everything else. So the American Cancer Association and the American Medical Association realized they don't have anything to worry about. So I'm sitting here listening to people about the financial system. I have a lot of people that come forward and say, we have a solution, and these ideas are really great. And I hesitate to even explore them or make them known at this point, because people are still focused on the representation that the slavery systems want you to be focused on. One is gold. This is, from my understanding, this is a 5D show where people are a little bit more in tune, possibly with higher energies, a more spiritual side of things. Mm-hmm. Yet my question is, have they seriously, consciously thought about gold as an energy?
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to bring up today too, is to introduce the concept of connecting with and communicating with and co-creating with the energy of all sorts of things, including gold, including the consciousness of the information that is held within the Vatican, including the consciousness of the information that has been kept hidden from us in regards to our history. All of it.
Well,
doesn't want to be known. Mm-hmm. So, yes.
It's important for that information to come out, and for people who get it to start asking those questions, not telling the people what it is, but asking the questions, just saying, hey, have you thought about this? And then helping them through exercises like that, looking at the energy fields of everything.
Yeah, we have worked a lot with energy over the course of the history of the show, and so we've had a lot of fun with it, and we have connected with the energy, of the world around us in many and varied ways. Mm-hmm. And so, you're saying that people are still too attached to the representation, whether it's cash money, paper money, coin, or gold. It all represents energy. So if I were going straight to the source.
Yeah, if I were to tell you that the prime of all value is energy, and yet you have the bankers over here saying, no, value is the gold or the silver or the paper. And yet you look over there and you can actually see the energy fields of those items, and you recognize that they're the same energy field that you are. Just hasn't been recognized. At that point, if you want to take the prime of energy and co-create with it, recognize it just as you want to be recognized as energy yourself and valuable, then you have to make a choice. If the data reveals that there is energy fields of the precious metals any kind of metal that they're using in these monetary slavery systems, I would have to ask myself at that point, okay, with this data, am I, by focusing on the gold and saying my gold, our gold, am I creating or am I participating in a slavery of another energy field? And it's just something to consider, because that's exactly some of the data that I question whether people are even ready for. You know, we can take it all the way back to prime energy. We already did. That's one of the things OPPT did. Now going in and saying to the people, here's your choice. You want to co-create with these metals, with these energy fields, or do you want to own them? Right now, all the energy fields are within the protection and the guard of the OPPT. But when you look at that data, wouldn't that data actually affect someone's answer of how they want to move into a new financial system? Because you can have one that is based on prime of energy and just do a digital system, or you can go in and say, no, I want the actual gold. I want the physical gold sitting in my vault. But at the same time, if it's an energy field and you're practicing basically something that we didn't want practiced against ourselves, so it sort of takes that whole question. It makes people think consciously. Make a conscious choice, but you got to have all the absolute data to be able to make a conscious, informed decision. And that's the process we're going through right now. Otherwise, we would have already instituted the new financial system at this point. I'm just sort of waiting for the people, not waiting, you guys are doing in your being. I guess I'm just waiting to see which choice you guys want to make. But then again, it's a matter of the data coming out. So the financial systems are there. They're already there. They're ready to go. It's just a matter of which choice people are going to want to make.
Well, how do
Does
we
that
even
make
let
sense
our...
to you, Lisa?
Yeah, it does, and I love it. My question to you is, how do you then recognize, or how does anybody recognize what choice we're making?
Well, that's why I started to talk about this. It's funny that every time I talk about Saint Germain and that trust, all of a sudden all my lines go garbled and nobody can hear what I'm saying.
Well, we've got you loud and clear for now.
So, that's what I was trying to explain was there are certain folks that know that gold is living energy field. That silver is a living energy field. And basically the how-to guide on accessing that particular energy field is by raising your own energy field to that one. However, that energy field of gold and silver and the precious metals are being pressed down as well, just like the people. So you really don't have to climb up too high, do you?
No.
And what we recognized was go in and secure, whether people know it's a living energy or not, we went in and secured it, back to prime. And at this point, it's a matter of, did people choose to let that gold and silver and precious metals, to recognize them as living energy and let them be free and use a digital system to account for the value? Because the value really is just energy, but the people still need to know how to work that energy field and create. If it's a matter of people wanting to know how to get a burger on their plate, a tank of gas in their car, and a bag of bread in their bread box, if you are able to manifest those without having to use gold and silver, then what's the point of gold and silver?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so this how-to book, basically, if, let's say, the data shows Saint Germain and all the rest had the information to tell you guys how to access it all along, the education material, and they're working closely with the Pentagon or the international equivalents, which actually manage the education systems to the people. With that data, I would sit there and kind of question, well, why hasn't it been done? So it's really a matter of all these self-interests and special interests being ferreted out.
Yeah.
Who's operating at a who's operating at a pure level of energy, who really has the interest, the highest good of all in their intent. And the gold exercise, as pokey or funny that it seemed to anyone, that exercise is an actual event.
That was beautiful, and I think that's what triggered a lot of the conversation around the consciousness of things in general, and it did start a lot of conversations around the idea of, do we need these representations anymore? Can't we just go back to prime?
Right.
And it's a conversation that absolutely has to happen, and has to happen on a wide scale.
Mm-hmm. You know, we could have gone in a long time ago and just freed all of that energy. However, to get this into people's consciousness and have them make a conscious choice, I felt was very, very important.
Yeah, it is.
So that's where we are right now. That gold exercise is actually an actual event. And when I released it, it was to bring this into the energy fields into everyone's consciousness, but it was also a notice over to Saint Germain and the rest of what was about to happen.
So, Heather, it's Chris here. Good day to you. Hope you're well.
Hi, Chris.
Just to clarify specifically what you're trying to say was that at the moment you are really waiting for us to make a decision between a system where we recognize that we and our energy are the value in the system and develop from there accordingly, or whether we want to stick to a representation of value, which would be to say, okay, gold is our standard for exchange of energy, because I have to assume that people listening to this show realize that the exchange of money in our system is actually a representation of an exchange of energy. That's really what's going on. Just as the straw man is a representation of a state of being, which is another manipulation that we're having. So, you know, if we can get to that decision point, you know, that's through the release of the absolute data, so that people really are equipped to make a decision, then we move on.
Yeah, my greatest...
No, go on, Heather.
My greatest concern was this: if people were unconscious about the energy fields of the gold, and let's say they said, no, I want our gold, we're going to have this backed up system based on precious metals. You know, if you co-create with those energy fields, they'll do it because you ask them to, and there's this unified love grid system. Some people call it the crystalline grid. I just call it the grid. And they would actually absolutely participate. They want to have fun. They've been so bogged down with the same shackles everyone else has. Yeah, the shackles may be around a different type of body part or a different type of being form, but they're still there. So my concern was this: if we went out and released all of this, precious metals and everything else, they'd miss the point. And I wouldn't want them to foreclose on themselves because they didn't have all the data. This is an energetic issue. This is a magnetic issue.
Really, we could... Sorry, I'll just finish complete my thought. We could go... What I was really getting to is that we could go to a system direct from where we are, a system where there is no money.
Yes.
Just recognized energy exchange. You know, the ultimate barter system.
Yeah, I mean, we could actually, you can do a digital, and it's backed by the prime energy, which is a truer, more accurate, and leaves less room for any jokesters. That would be the most adaptable to bridging that old paradigm and the new paradigm, the now paradigm.
So take the gold. So you take the gold entirely out of the equation as far as being a representation of value.
As far as being a representation of value, yes. However, the gold and the energy fields of gold, silver, all the precious metals, anything any energy right now is so willing to co-create, and they're so excited about the opportunity to co-create. But then again, if you have an unconscious body that doesn't see them as energy, how does that actually work? So if you go in and you bridge that need, and I hate the word need, but then again, the word hate is not even energetically speaking in line with the now. If you look at what people are expecting, they're expecting something that is not too far from what they've been enslaved with, as far as too much data overwhelming them and everything else, but they also want something that resonates inside.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've both expressed what my concerns have been with the idea of having any form of representation of the energy, is that there's always the chance, perhaps, that that representation will always end up going back to being accumulated in one spot again, by perhaps people who don't have, the collective best interest in mind. And there are quotes throughout history of people saying that we could split all the money in the world equally amongst everybody, and then within 5 years we'd have it all back. That 1% would have it all back, because they know how to do that. They've known how to do that. The information and the level of consciousness that goes with that hasn't been dished out at the same time. So if there are no representations, then there's very little, as far as I can tell, ability for corruption.
Well, I mean, if you go and recognize everyone's value is their energy. Yeah. Everyone's more than the sum of what they've produced. They're everything that they are just being. So all the thing is, these great people, I work a lot with these DARPA boys. We call them DARPA boys. They worked for DARPA. All of their inventions that they pulled down from the ethers, because most of them are very, very spiritual. And they will tell you they ran off because all of those that they created for the highest good of all, for everyone to benefit from, got buried, stolen, or otherwise just taken. And at this point, it's a matter of recognizing everyone's energy. Anyone can go create. It doesn't have to be, some Einstein or DARPA type of project. It could be as far as creating a community, such as what you guys allow me to be a part of every day at this point. And watching that energy just manifest, and opportunities find and manifest visibly for everyone to experience and implement if they choose. So creation and co-creation, we are the value. So if you have a digital system that recognizes that and makes it so that you can actually show a paper trail, so to speak, of the exchange of energy, until at some point you no longer need that, because it's just a straight-on exchange. The record is in the energy pattern itself.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Understood.
It's like, we're entering into a whole new game. Like, this is a whole new game. And if we don't have the instructions on how to play, there's no point in playing.
Well, see, that's the point. When I tell you guys, you have no idea how much your being and your doing impacts and has an effect, because that was the one thing in all my travels and all my experiences that all the powers that were, quote unquote, on this planet were very, very weary of, was the people figuring out the power that they had. So there's a lot of different types of implementations we can do on the financial system, all the way from slavery to the more pure form of prime energy and acknowledging, honoring integrity of prime. But it's a matter of, do I introduce all those? Because right now people are in such a hurting position because of the old slavery systems, there's no fun in them. There's no energy that is unshackled at this point in some of them. So meeting people like Lisa and you, Chris, and Dee and AK, American Kabuki, and all these guys, and Kapele, is the energy, watching you guys and watching it just unshackle. When that happens, you're able to assist others as well. Your blog talk radio shows, your blogs, your emails, all of that is helping and assisting people, and I don't know if people recognize what that energy really is.
I think this audience does.
Right. Well, and that's one reason why it's probably the first time we've had an uninterrupted, ungarbled session of being able to talk about these things. And I appreciate all the energy, all of the people that are listening or that are on the line are putting out, because this is really the first time the Public Trust has discussed this on a public level.
Well, we are very honoured.
We are indeed. There's one of the realizations that I actually came to. It was actually speaking with J.T. McBride from Divine Province, was that the things that we do to represent these concepts, when we put them on paper, at the moment we put them on paper simply because we have to speak to the existing system on paper. That's what it requires. And we don't actually need the paper. If we're making a decision about who we are and how we're going to be, if we've made it, that's it. The bit of paper is just to notify these other guys who want to do it a different way that you're no longer going to be their little slave. And in the same way, we don't need to use gold. We don't really even need agreements on government. If we all had this understanding and thought about life the way that I hope everybody would think about life, then we could simply be, and there would not be a necessity for rules, because everyone would respect everyone else's sovereignty. And this is where ultimately we'd like to end up with. But back in the current situation for the mainstream, the thought is so controlled and contrived. And what I'm looking forward to is the release of absolute data, as you put it, and whatever happens after. I know it's not going to be easy, and I know it's not going to be a thrilling experience for a lot of people to find out that level of truth, but it needs to be done.
Right. No, it's like you said. If you look at our filings, especially the Notice of Declaration of Facts, you said something very key, that it's just a matter of thought, a matter of action, and putting it on paper just enters it into the systems basically that have been foreclosed on now. And when you look at our paperwork, that is absolutely recognized. When you enter something into law ordinance is creation, the laws of creation. And then you have universal law ordinance, and you notice that by action. And then all we did was take all of that already exists, that always is, and enter it into what we call international law ordinance, which includes all of these states and nations and everything we just foreclosed on. So it is a matter of energy, bringing it into the different levels. Most people don't think beyond international, for the collective conscious, although they're starting to move thanks to all the holding of the space, by you guys and your listeners, holding that space of understanding. We are much more than just our bodies. We are much more than just this planet. And there's a greater going on here, a greater being going on. So the public trust is not ignorant to these things. In fact, they are very much a part of everything we did. That was the reason we were able to take it back to Prime. But then again, a matter of just being open to recognizing Prime, right?
The incredible thing you've done, Heather, is actually make that connection between a real physical, what we would call legal or lawful system on this planet, and merging it with source. It's just quite extraordinary how that actually works. We were actually talking about this after the show a couple of days ago. It's a bit hard to remember now. That it was obvious from various parts of the filings that there's been a connection made into universal law. It's not just Uniform Commercial Code on planet Earth, it's universal law now. And whilst it appears to be just another detail in the documents, it's actually probably the most important thing in there.
Yeah, well, people are thinking the UCC is just planetary. And when the absolute data is on the table, one will have the opportunity to see that the UCC was actually something universal that was brought here, and that there's this incredible harvesting going on and being taken out. And one thing and that's why I say the powers that were on this planet really are just brokers, because they are. There's something much bigger. That's why I call him the wizard behind the curtain. And if you understand if you can even just accept the possibility that the UCC was not just here on this planet, that it was actually brought on this planet as a harvesting tool, it changes sort of the perspective when you're looking at the data, right?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, when we went in specifically to go get the wizard behind the curtain, but you got to go step by step and make sure that you're backtracking as it is bound, so shall be unbound. And one thing that those powers that were, in all their multidimensionals, never considered was Source implementing and exercising free will choice. They all expected free will choice for themselves. They all expected and commandeered and managed the free will choice of everyone else, but they never, ever, ever considered for one moment Source exercising Source's free will.
In allowing this connection to be made and brought to us.
Exactly. They recognize it, and that's one reason I'm going gently, but at the same time consistently and firmly. The public trust is moving in exactly the way it needs to move in order to make sure that, I call them the divine. Actually, I call them what they call themselves, the divine. For me, if something is divine, then something else has to not be divine in order to support that position. When you reconcile both of those, all of a sudden it's absolute. You have the yin and the yang living in harmony. So if Source's free will choice is that everything and everyone is absolute, equal, all of one. And that's what we pulled down. That's what we pulled down. That's what we entered into. We registered crime. So all multi-dimensions understand and know. Now, when we first started out, people would just laugh that off. So a lot of people aren't ready for that. However, the ones at the top, the big dogs, the wizards behind the curtains, the Pentagon, the high wealth attorneys, they all know this. At some degree, they all know this, and they're going to be the first ones to start to discredit the disinformation. So what we've done is we've gone in and made sure that we guard over here is absolutely how we need to guard, but at the same time making sure the data is flowing constantly, but in such a manner where people can absorb it, because so much has been done to the people, have been done to the energy fields of everything around them. There's a lot of healing that needs to go on, and the healing starts with being and doing. That's why I say it's so important for everyone to be and do, and you guys are doing it. We love it.
But do you think we're at the point where the Band-Aid needs to be ripped off? And
you tell me.
Sorry?
You guys tell me. listeners, tell me.
Well, I tend to think we are, because I think we're going to need a shock.
We can rip the Band-Aid off, but is that going to be in the highest good of all?
Oh, that's a pivotal question. Absolutely pivotal. I mean, my feeling is that there's a very large number of people on the planet who are moving to the level of knowledge that this audience has just moved to now, and that if we're not quite ready at this moment, there'll be enough of us. See, the reason for making this comment is simply this: that the reactions that will come from introducing absolute data to the population are going to be tinged with a fear reaction because of the programming that's been taken place. And the mitigating factors that we have to correct that and make the whole thing work for us in a positive fashion is that there's a very large group of people who are aware enough to assist those around them through the process in a positive fashion, and at the same time there's a very large group of light workers who can do the same thing energetically in the background. And if we're not there right at this moment, I think we're not far off it, Heather.
Well, and that's sort of the energy that I was getting. I Skyped Lisa and the rest today saying, I'm watching all these energy fields and getting these communications from Italy and Australia and other places, and a lot of questions regarding CVAC. I see all this data that usually comes on the table, and it highlights for me. And then that data tells me what to focus on. So it's a really great tool that I use that really is helpful. It lets me go through basically the same amount of data that people would go through in a year, I can go through in a very short period of time. And so when I'm sitting here looking at all this data, the CVAC is really popping up because you guys want it to pop up. You want to know the tools of how to implement. You want to know what can we do. I said today, how much fun do we all want to have? Because the questions you're posing here, I believe everyone is ready, because all I see are the eternal hearts that are embodied in each and every being. That's all I see. And they already, all those eternal hearts already agreed to the end game before the game even started.
Yeah, what we're finding
you guys are ready. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, what we're finding in our conversations is that we've stopped talking about the powers that were. We really have. What we're talking about is what comes next, and how to really get that conversation started. I mean, I've got later on in the show, I wasn't sure what was going to happen in this show because they've been just like the last couple of weeks have been quite unpredictable. But I've got a whole bunch of aspects of CVAC that we could begin discussing, as and when we want to. But with the added understanding from the last week that it's just an option that you've created, which is a placeholder for us to take a breather and get our level of knowledge up. And it doesn't have to be the absolute structure. I think it's a fantastic structure myself, and I think it's something we should build on. But I'm thinking that we're already looking forward, like the past has done, and we just need the rest of the planet to catch up to that place. And ask me personally, I'd say rip the Band-Aid off, but I can only speak for me.
I
well,
think
then
that,
how about we... Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I was just going to say, I think that a lot of what I'll call way showers, starseeds, the people who have spent their whole lives developing and coming to this point of awareness are ready. And they've been ready for some time, and they're like, just give us the means and let us do what we do, and we'll do it. But a lot of them are feeling limited in what they can do. A lot of people have projects and ideas that they want to get off the ground, and they're mentally, spiritually, and physically ready to do the work, but financially they're encumbered. And they can't. There's this level of frustration, and perhaps that's that building of critical mass. I don't know, but there's this level of frustration that's building. I feel like Lisa had once said, we're pressing up against the edge of the bubble, and just like, please, just let us go and do what we do.
Yep.
Well,
only once the Band-Aid, someone just said it, only once the bandage is removed can the wound start to heal. And there may be many people who are shocked, but I think that process, once it's out and it's open, it's in the open, and you have the opportunity to look at it, it's a lot easier to heal than just having that knowing in the back of your mind that maybe you don't want to look at it, but you just know something's really, really wrong. And even if you're confronted with what that is, even though it's horrifying at times and as saddening at times as that can be, that's where you have to start in order to do the healing process. So sorry, Heather, go on.
Hey, Lisa, can I jump in real quick? This is Brian.
Hey, Brian. Yes, of course.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
I've been listening in for the last 20 or so minutes trying to catch up. It looks like everybody's covered a lot of ground so far already. But on the whole Band-Aid ripping off thing, I think I mentioned that the other night, and I agree. And I think that an important thing to note here is that consciousness has evolved so much over the course of the last few years, right? So at a deeper level, we sit here and we talk about people being ready or not being ready, and the honest truth is that there's a lot of people out there that if the ball dropped right now, it would catch them off guard. But I think that on a much deeper level, the people, whether they're consciously aware of it or not, are much more ready for this absolute data to come out now than they once were, because they've been preparing for it subconsciously and unconsciously for so long.
That's why they're here.
That's why they're here. So when that Band-Aid does get ripped off, and you all know I'm of the opinion, let's just rip that bad boy off and deal with whatever we want to call as potentially being collateral damage that will subside so much faster now than it once would have. So absolute data, we call it absolute data because it has to be absolute. You can't, anything less than absolute data is partial data, which means it's not absolute data. So I agree with what Bob and what Chris said, and Lisa, what you just said, is that there's enough of us that are awake and aware at this point, especially since September 11th, 2001 was a big one, right? Because it's not just your conspiracy theorists that believe that was an inside job anymore. There's people, I don't even know how many YouTube hits there are on that Loose Change video and all the documentaries about from the organizations, the contractors organizations that have showed that it's absolutely impossible what happened for September 11th. That data is out there, and if there's a proper re-education process that's in place that has enough factual evidence to support that this stuff that's coming out is real, and you got to assume at this point that when absolute data comes out, there's going to be the mechanisms that are going to support it to help people understand we're talking about reality here and not some pipe dream. Because when I think of absolute data, I think global, and everybody has to, and it's out there for everybody to see once and for all. And the conversation that we've started when this all started around the 25th, 26th, 27th, I was thinking of the questions that I first wanted to ask Heather in our first conversation. And those questions that I had have evolved multiple cycles since then. And that was only a month ago. And we got a lot, everybody was talking about the money and how much does everybody get. And now we're talking, this is much more spiritual, universal in nature. How do we get to a point where everybody can cooperate and where we don't need the money anymore? And the post that came out on removing the shackles for everybody that's coming up with all the amazing ideas for how do we work collaboratively and in unity, that all has happened in the course of 1 month.
Yeah, and Heather, what I'm getting from Source is that the Band-Aid is limiting. These need to come off where the energy can start healing. So I agree with everybody. The Band-Aid has to come off now.
I'm just having a giggle to myself. Sorry, I'm just having a giggle to myself thinking about the idea of somebody thinking, the collective imagination's got a lawyer on the show. Tuning into this. and hearing you talk and just go, okay, so who's the spiritual guru? You know.
Hey, we call Lois Mom, by the way, and whose job is it to rip the Band-Aid off, anyways? That's Mom's job.
Don't make Mommy ask you twice.
Yeah, it needs to come off. It's time for it to come off.
Well, and that's sort of where all the data is highlighting right now.
What, honey?
Sorry, say that again.
Oh, that's where all the data is highlighting right now, and that's why this morning I asked in the Skype room, you know, how much fun do you guys choose to have? Because I've got Italy who's ready to hold elections on their CVACs. You have Australia that's asking, I had Sign and other people offering to take positions in a CVAC. And so what I would like to do and what I propose to every listener, to every person on this planet is let's get some kind of technology together, because I'm not a wizard in the techie side, but let's get the people together and just say, okay, here's the framework, and I can explain this is how the framework works, meaning it's just a safe harbor. Now, all you beautiful people, bring all your talent and all your energy in, and let's get this thing working and moving. We have Caleb, who's a wonderful code writer who can do all the code writing, does a lot of code writing for financial. So if you pull this all together, your CVACs are up and running within about a 2-week period. Where you can actually exchange value for a bag of bread, for, you know, gardening, whatever it may be, even up to a car. It just depends on how the spiritual vendors, so to speak, the ones that are in the slavery system from before, a lot of them are very spiritual, and they want to see a different system. So all of a sudden you have these products that you would think that are not obtainable, whether it's a car, whether it's energy, whether, and what I mean by energy is for your house, you know, until you guys figure out, and we all figure out how to light our houses within ourselves, you know, there's certain things that people need. And what I'd like to make it is so that they don't need them. They have them. So
Heather,
let's start it.
My Skype's going off with people sending me messages who are obviously listening to the show, just going, yes, yes, yes. And,
all right, well, let's do it then.
And it's also what you've just said is very much in alignment with what I'm doing, because one of the things we've done here is register the opt-in website, and the whole purpose of that was to put a description of CVACs, a very succinct description of the CVACs up there, and actually have people come there and actually like vote for, yes, I want the CVAC for my country or my region or whatever activated now, so that we could get an idea of figures and get an idea of how much this information is spreading, and for people to put their hand up, you know, to want to be a part of it, be one of the public servants involved. So if I can talk to Caleb, maybe we can get that happening a lot quicker.
Yeah, I mean, let's go in there. I know, look, the CVAC, it's got no geographical bounds, because the people don't have geographical bounds. Not naturally. Right. God didn't make you, and then Source didn't make you, and then put a stamp on your butt that says for Italy or for America. You know, so why should our systems reflect that? Our systems are there, and really it's just a matter of having a geographical location that serves all the one people as they travel through there. So I would really love to get this up. Let's get it running. I hear the people saying, let's do it. I want it. So let's start organizing and be efficient. I see all these websites going up, these blogs. A Wikipedia, I think, page went up for the OPPT. Let's start being very focused, being very efficient, and let's have the effect we all choose to have, which is moving, growing, learning, ascending, whatever word you want to use. I don't care, because it's the energy that I'm feeling right now. So let's just do it.
Yay!
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 Hell yeah.
Okay, now just a question for you, because in tandem with the implementation of CVACs, there's the concept of the absolute data being presented to those among us who aren't yet fully across this. Do you see that the energy we unleash on starting these entities will generate that event, or is that something that's going to come for some other reason? Heather?
Heather, did we lose you?
Yeah, we've lost Heather. Hold on, I'm pulling her in.
Where's that music coming from?
It's pretty, whatever it is.
It is. I think it must be Dee.
Hi, guys. Hold on. It's me. It's Dee. I'm pulling her back in.
Okay.
I love that ringtone, Dee.
Oh, did you get to hear my fancy ringtone?
Yeah. Put it on hold. It was good.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Why can't I find her? Hold on. Guys, just give me a second.
Straight back in on the switchboard. But
give me a second.
I will say this is the best connection I think we've ever had with Heather.
Oh,
no kidding.
I don't want to jinx it, but
it is the 5D Media Network.
Oh, guys, I hope you enjoyed this call because the last 3 calls we really haven't known what's going to happen, and I think we just made history. By the way,
doesn't that make for the best call?
There
though,
she
Lisa?
is.
Oh, I'm technologically challenged, I must say. And no comment.
Chris just posed a question to you, which you probably missed, so I'll let him repeat it.
Okay. Welcome back. Look, I'll try and rephrase it exactly as I did. Starting on implementing CVAX immediately will unleash a huge amount of energy. And I'm just trying to figure the effect of that and how it plays into introducing absolute data to everybody else. Now, are you saying that by unleashing the CVAX now, we will generate the release, from its prison of the absolute data, or is there some other mechanism that is going on in the background that we don't know about that will actually cause that event to happen, or perhaps both?
What I can say is this: every present moment of you guys being and doing is unlocking absolute data. So I find that one will tend to look forward expecting that some other action or being will unlock something when it's actually happening right now. So yeah, as far as letting the floodgates open, we all knew when we went in and pulled the CVAC down from Prime that the CVAC was going to be a huge healing moment, that it was going to be an incredible forum, so to speak, a Prime forum where people could actually experience and learn and work with the energy field. There was going to be, if this CVAC allows for all this to happen, absent self-interest or special interest that damages any other. Transparency is integrity. Truth is integrity. So it's a matter of responsibility. So yeah, these CVACs and actually diving into making these things work on a practical day-to-day basis, moment-to-moment basis, it unlocks huge amounts of absolute data to come in. Basically, it's akin to ripping that Band-Aid off. Really, that's what it is.
Well, I like what Caleb said, because Lisa was talking to Caleb here about the CVAC and about the Aussie CVAC and the 4 of us, and he says, good, start by making a separation between the corp and the organic. Issue a declaration that the corp has to stop using the name of the organic and see what happens.
Yeah, it's all on there anyways. That's why they're having such problems right now. They can't get anything to move. And all you have to do, by you actually stating what you are, you prevent anyone else from stating that you're something else. Or using you. We have we have, for instance, some group asking for donations as the One People's Public Trust. Well, we went out and all we did was say, hey, Public Trust doesn't ask for or even take donations. So just by making a clear statement, you don't have to be rude about the other. You just make a clear statement of who you be, and then the people understand, they know. So just declare. It's huge. It's a huge effect. So, Chris, I think you're going to find that this will be a lot of fun. Everyone, I believe, will find it'll be a lot of fun, and fun is a measurable frequency. Very close to love.
Guys,
I still like my ideas of fun.
Yeah, go ahead, Dee. What was that?
Oh, no. We won't get a private conversation that we had earlier about my ideas of having fun, and I don't know, everyone thought it was quite humorous, but I don't think the powers that were would.
Hey, Dee, you should make that into a post for tonight.
It involved whoopee cushions and purple dye in their shampoo. And I thought that would be a lot of fun.
I just wanted to say that we actually do have a lot of callers, and I'm sure they will have questions, and if I could bring some of them out, because I've been waiting patiently for a very long time. We do have... Where have they gone? Have they gone? We've got Lois. I'm going to try T. Wallace.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay. I'm here. Okay. Yeah, this is Tony.
Tony
from the chat room. I guess I'm Zaruga in the chat room.
Oh, hello.
How you doing?
Very good.
So you guys are ready for the Band-Aid to be ripped off, huh?
Yeah. How about you?
That must be a rhetorical question.
Right. Well, I just wanted to call in and share my experiences. I think, part of this is all sharing the epiphanies that we experience, and when we experience something that seems beyond the boundaries of this reality, it gives other people the opportunity to make the attempt themselves. First of all, I wanted to really thank Bob for linking me up Reese Jones and his YouTube site. Everyone out there, please, if you have the time, go look up Reese Jones 87. He talks about lucid dreams. He talks about awakening. He talks about working on a farm in exchange for shelter and food. It's just an amazing journey. And when I watched almost every single video, there was something that he was experiencing. He's explaining his lucid dreams and his waking experiences, where I was like, wow, that's a dream I had, up to the point where I began to remember him being a dream character in my dreams, and I being a dream character in his dreams. And for anyone who's done lucid dreams, recognize there's a point you awaken to the dream, and that's where you become lucid, and you realize that power to change everything. And the real truth about this reality is no different in the dream world. In the absolute number of people who are co-creating this reality together, and more people around us that we wake up and go, you're a character in my character.
Tony, we're losing you there.
We're losing you, Tony, yeah.
Oh, of course, right when I get that part. What I'm saying is, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You're fading in and out.
Okay. I'll try to get it out as quickly as possible. The more people you can awake around you, the more you will see the purse strings of reality start to loosen up. And all I can say is get out there, look at the sky, start seeing the rainbows. Things are changing. Nothing's the same. And if there's one thing I'm sure about, maybe it's not going to happen all around the world, but this is the year we unlock death, and that's what 2013 is all about.
I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Tony.
Death, and realize that we are eternal, and even after this life, we go wherever we choose to go. The more we can make this world like those other worlds.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Thank you for calling in and sharing. I appreciate it. One more vote for having the Band-Aid ripped off. Thanks, Tony. And we've got area code 613.
Yes, hello?
Yes, hello.
Hi, gang. It's Daryl here. How are you?
Hey, Daryl.
I was
relaxing. Very good.
I was relaxing, enjoying the conversation. Anyway, I want to just give some positive stuff out here. The Band-Aid has been ripped off. Dee, you heard the recording when the government was notified that they were foreclosed on.
Yeah.
We had a good chuckle over that one. And I've also been getting emails from contractors and other people who have been getting invoices from the government, so forth, asking for money based on an assessment. And I've been telling them just to return the call and say, I'm sorry, you've been foreclosed on. I'm dealing directly with the trustee. And I think that's good for a chuckle.
Nice. I like that.
I do too.
It's just that's very succinct. I love it.
Yeah.
So are you saying that everybody could do that? Or is it just people dealing directly with government departments? I mean, if your power company sends you a bill, your bank sends you a bill, you just sort of turn around and go, oh, yeah, excuse me, but, I can't pay you because you've been foreclosed on.
Well, you've been foreclosed on, but I'm happy to work directly with your trustee.
That's right. It's worked for me, so we'll see.
You'll throw them in a tither, and they'll go, what, huh? And at least
they'll leave you alone for a couple of weeks while they try to figure it out.
Yeah, that's right. And some of the other, we are getting queries from lawyers. And so, Heather, your UCC filings are going into two courtrooms, one being the Superior Court and the other the Federal Court with a lawsuit against the Bank of Canada. So I'm looking forward to the results and what the judge actually does when these documents are introduced.
That's, wow. Yeah, Central Bank of Canada. Well, that'll be a new avenue that we've traveled down before with Bank of Canada, that's for sure. They usually used to be on the other side.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll head off for tonight. Good listening to you. Thanks.
Thank you, Daryl.
Bye, Daryl.
Bye.
I'm just going to see if Susan, I think she might have put her hand back up. Susan, did you want to come out and have with another question or comment?
Are we talking 316, Suzanne?
Where have you gone? 316, Suzanne? That's the one.
Is that me?
Mm-hmm.
316, and you can hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, great, yes. This whole entire time, it seems that everything kind of centers around the public awareness, basically education and ways to get it out, and also goes to, that there's a lot of energy and all of us are kind of biting at the bit, ready to launch out. And it occurs to me we're definitely interfacing with a 3D. I'm sure I'm not alone in this. And ripping off the Band-Aid. From an educational standpoint, what I'm wondering is if anybody sees or comes across resources where we can actually start exposing a lot of people that really aren't aware of the system that they're in. That is coming about. All of this is coming about, but I'm hoping for compassion for those people that are truly blind, even to that they're in a system.
Well, we've talked about this before, but I mean there are soft approaches. The movie Thrive is a pretty soft approach, yet it covers a lot of different subjects.
Not necessarily a soft approach, and I've really been wrestling with myself about this because I'm one of those that has been frustrated for a long time and has been going, give me the Band-Aid, let me rip it off, please, just let me rip this off your eyes so you can see what I'm saying. So I'm all about ripping off the Band-Aid.
Well, then you've got Zeitgeist, if you want to go a little bit harder.
Honestly, Lisa, I feel like that I'm on the front lines with the 3D as far as, this is heavy lifting. I'm talking about some heavy lifting here. So prayers from everyone, please. And definitely they've been going out from here. I'm just thinking about educational format. And speaking of, whenever I listen to it, my exposure to this, and thank you, Lisa, for putting it on your Facebook, I listened to the conversation between Brian and Heather discussing it. And the whole time that I'm listening to it, my body is just vibrating. I'm feeling nothing but truth in this. And by the time it was over, I was laughing out loud at the utter brilliance. Heather, I have to say, utter brilliance. This is just brilliant. And I believe that it can be brought down to a concise presentation where it will resonate with people that are further in the 3D that might not even be able to take the 5D verbiage. What I'm thinking is we need to speak in many tongues.
We need
to speak in many tongues.
What was your name?
Suzanne.
Suzanne. I agree with you. This is Brian. The thing is there's when you look at the vast arrangement of people that are on this planet, you have a scale, right? You have the people that are, let's just say maybe the category of the people listening on this call and the people that are hosting the call that we would consider ourselves to be very awake and aware to the reality of all this. And then you have the people on the very opposite end of the spectrum and everything in between. So there's a lot of people out there that no matter what we show them or expose them, it could be blatant smacking them in the face with a bag of bricks, and they'll go down fighting, looking the other way because they're so glued on the reality that they live in that they don't want to hear it. They're happy and they're comfortable, or they're let's just say conditioned to the reality that they're living in now, and they're fighting, kicking, and screaming. So I was just like you. I still am just like you. I want to wake everybody up around me, but I also have come to the point where I realized that it's not necessarily my job to wake everybody up. I could send, I could put information in front of people, the little bits. Hey, go watch this movie, Thrive. See if it opens it up, and if they come to me and they ask me questions, then I'll expose them more to it. My father is a great example. I pointed him in the direction. And, he's a skeptic by nature, and all of a sudden he got addicted, and he started going and doing all his own homework, his own research. Now it's crazy. I open my email, and I got emails of all sorts of random stuff he's found online about, news events that are coming out that are exposing how deep the rabbit hole goes, and he's just in it now at this point. So
right.
we all want the same thing you want, and the problem is there's no real easy way to do it.
Right. And what I'm saying, I guess, now is and what my whole line of thought and all these notes that I took while Heather was talking in the whole nine yards was before we all decided to rip the Band-Aid off. What I'm trying to say and not saying very well is that I have found, just like you with your dad, there seem to be specific little triggers that I have found that work very well, and in that there are so many of us, and we do have a tremendous amount of energy that we've kind of been holding on to and just processing all the data and kind of getting ourselves adjusted to this incredible information and all of the information. Things like just the simple means of a 5 or 6 minute clip that explains the birth certificate system, for example, for Americans. Just that one little 5-minute light bulb makes them go, well, of course that's how it is. I didn't, it's just one huge glaring light bulb. And hopefully there's a lot of healing in that, because I also have found that people have to process the anger in the truth that they see in that 5 minutes. And from an educational standpoint, if we can hone in on those little 5 and 6 minute things that explain the system that people are in very concisely, it is just triggering lights all over the place. This energy is loose. It's there. There are things happening. I'm seeing it. I know all of you guys are seeing it.
I agree with Brian too. You can take a horse to water, but as the saying goes. So I think we do have a responsibility to a degree to be there for those who are waking up and have questions and need support and need help, but we can't force it on them. They have a free will choice not to wake up, not to be informed, not to know. So be there for whoever you can be there for. And I go, wow, I feel like I spent my entire life with the whole wanting to save the world and wake everybody up mentality, and I got over it a couple of years ago. So now I'm just there for those who want to listen. And that's, I think, the best that we can do.
Well, Lisa, Suzanne does have a good point when it comes to short 3 to 5 minute, pieces of information. That's how we consume data now. That's how we consume information.
Sounds like.
Yeah,
Yes.
just little snippets of information. And I'm sure that there are dozens of mini topics that could be put out there that way, so that as people are looking, they would find these little video clips or audio clips and consume them in bite-sized pieces until they finally feel full, instead of, shoving a whole meal down their throat, just giving it to them one bite at a time when they're ready.
Yep.
I don't think that everybody is as ravenous for knowledge and information and data as most of us or all of us here now in this conversation are. But they are taking it in bits, and I do believe that there are. As a matter of fact, it's amazing the gifts that I found in just the guidance that I went through today, and just found little golden nuggets, and I've just been trying to put them out there. Just put them out there, and trust that the person that's looking is going to catch a 3 to 5 minute, 6 minute clip, and receive a light bulb. I'm just handing out light bulbs. I'm not trying to force anything on anybody at this point. The energy has completely changed. It's trying to hand out light bulbs in any way that I can find to do that.
I agree, Susan. I think that when you can put together, like you're talking about, something that's short and succinct, very factual, here is the facts, you give it to people, and like Lisa said, either they drink or they don't drink. And if they don't drink, then that's their free will choice. But I think that the idea of having those is an excellent one. I think it's a very good educational tool.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like the OPPT presentation that Angel put together.
Exactly.
I think there was like 1,800 hits on that or something like that in the first day, and it's still spreading. And the beauty about having a group like this and so many people, 106,000 live listeners on that call that we were on the other night, that's incredible. It just goes to show how many people are now awake and aware. And when you have that many people that are now wanting to contribute, you have the resources of all those people who are asking. Ask Dee how many emails she gets a day for people that want to do and that want to participate. So rallying the troops and putting our heads together is a big part of this process that we've been talking about on this call, and it is invaluable. And when you really think down back to Prime, it's all, everything that's happened up to this point and where we're going is all by design. So the more that you slip into the stillness of what is and follow your excitement, because when you're excited, you're the most in balance and in tune with your source energy within you, then that's the direction that you're supposed to be going. And that's what's the most exciting about where we are at in this process, because we feel, it seems like we're very far along, but really we're at just now scraping the surface of being just at the beginning.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. And same with the opt-in, the I Am Free opt-in campaign we did on Facebook. We launched on Facebook last week. That's working in the sense of people are asking the question, what is this? Because some of them are having their news feeds inundated with photographs of people saying, I'm free, opt in. And so they're asking the question, what the hell's all this about? What's going on? So it's working.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, is Heather still with us?
I believe so.
Yeah, I'm just listening to all you guys doing.
Yeah. I've just been sitting here contemplating what it looks like when the CVAC contracts are actually completed. Given the degree to which the task we have in front of us is related to informing the uninformed, getting the attention of the people whose attention's focused elsewhere, what are the chances of the CVACs being fully funded from DOT? Because if there's anything going to attract some attention, it's going to be organisations that can really do things from the get-go, from that starting point. In other words, I guess what I'm saying is if the CVACs are fully funded and fully capable of dealing with people's things, people's problems from the get-go, the Band-Aid rip-off becomes a really good fast rip-off instead of the slow pull that my mother used to use.
That isn't
you
what
must have been
this
a bad
mom
boy.
is using.
Yeah, I mean, from an old paradigm banking position, right now the People's Trust and the One People, all equally, have the only valid, lawful, legal, commercial paper worth anything on the planet. And as far as what's backing it, truly what's backing it is prime value, but as of right now, all the gold, silver, precious metals are backing it until an informed decision can be made as to which one the people choose. So as far as banking and all that, we actually have that all. It's just a matter of, in the banks are really, I've had some calls from different groups, different financial groups, different banks, basically all trying to get public trust to be flexible or to come in and accept certain shuffling of the cards that they've done, and the people don't have to do that. The people are the only ones on the one people have the actual lawful legal value, the only lawful legal value that exists on the planet right now. So as far as going into fund, everything's there. It's just a matter of having the digital system to be able to go ahead and make the transfers and the tracking. That's it. And that, Caleb and I have been talking back and forth about going in there and just doing it. And there's lots of beautiful programmers within this group of people alone who are able to assist with that as well. So, it's just a matter of doing. We can have that up in a couple of weeks.
You have my vote.
I vote yes.
All
yes.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hey, Lisa.
Aye from
Lisa,
everybody listening as well.
Lisa, real quick, somebody, Angelina, just asked me if you could share the I Am Free Facebook page. How do people go and find that?
Barbara's the one who knows that stuff at it.
It's facebook.com/OPPTIN.
There you go, Angelina.
And tell Angelina, take a photograph. Add it to the group.
I need to send mine in there.
Yes, where's yours is missing. AK's is missing.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess I should send mine. I'm sorry, I'll do that tomorrow.
Thank you. Oh, guys, I have to say thank you. This has been an amazing couple of hours. I've only got 8 minutes left, so I'll call out to Mum. Is Mum still with us? Have you got any words you'd like to leave us with, Lois?
Just keep doing what you're doing, and Mom ripped it off really fast. I don't do anything slow.
My kind of mum. And Bob, anything you would like to leave us with?
Oh boy, I'm just really, really glad at the response of all of the people and all of the listeners and all the support that we've been getting, because obviously it is having a grand impact on the universal scale. So everybody move into that vibration. Do the gold exercise. Free the energy around you in your home, in every place that you go. Free it. Let it be released. And go about your day in a more positive frame of mind, because we're heading into some beautiful, beautiful things in the future.
Let it be as free as you wish to be.
Indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I keep promising that I'm going to lead a meditation, and we never have time. So maybe next week. Dee.
Yes, darling.
Do you have anything you'd like to leave us all with? Words of wisdom from Dee.
Oh, I don't know what words of wisdom. It's a little late at night for that.
A kick up the bottle, too. That's good.
Yeah. Well, I'm all about pulling off Band-Aids real quick, and practical jokes. But we'll discuss that another time.
I love your signs, Dee.
What was that, darling?
I love your signs that you were creating, Dee. They chuckled me.
I know. I just wanted to make everyone happy for a few minutes. I just thought it was cute. I was talking about who I was going to put, No, I won't say that on the certain politicians. I was going to sneak up and put a sign on their back that says "I eat baby kittens," and things like that. Kick me, I'm stupid. Yeah, just a little
You're giving
fun.
people ideas.
So creative, Dee.
You just got to have fun with it. Well, you want fun? I was telling JJ I was good. If I had the money, I'd go out and buy the biggest amount of X-Lax chocolate flavored and mix it in with chocolate, send it to every politician on the planet so that we could get rid of all the bullshit.
And bake them a cake. Bake them a chocolate
Then you got to call
cake.
a press conference so they're on TV when it's all going down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Dee, the best description I've ever heard of that kind of circumstance is a fecal blizzard.
Yes. Yes.
Talk about releasing
I like it.
I think we should all get T-shirts that say "I'm free, opt in," and walk in front of Pennsylvania Avenue in front of the White House.
Can we have fecal blizzard on the back?
You can have anything you want, girl.
Okay, Chris, how about you?
I pretty much just at a loss for words. It's been absolutely fantastic. Heather, Lois, Dee, Brian, and everybody that's listening. This is one of those moments. I hope we look back at this session and the ones to come, and in years to come, say, yeah, that's when it all really started to change. So thank you all.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, as of next week, I believe it's going to be on a Monday night in the US, a Tuesday morning for those of us here in Australia, on the Freedom Reigns channel. Again, we'll be talking OPPT. Now, the subject matter will be OPPT, but you don't know who you're going to get on the day. Myself, Chris, everybody here on this call, Bob, Dee, Brian, American Kabuki, Heather, Lois, there's a whole crew of people who will be contributing to this on an ongoing basis, but no one's got a commitment to be there every week. So you won't know who you're going to get, but you'll know what the subject matter will be. And then, of course...
Lisa,
yes.
Can I take a quick turn?
Yes.
Real quick, I just pulled up I save all my favorite quotes in my iPad notes, and I just pulled one up at random, and it's so relevant, of course. And first of all, I love you guys all so much, and everybody that's listening to the call, so much love and light. I just want to send out to everybody. I'm so looking forward to the love your neighbor as thyself type of mentality. But this quote, listen to this. This is from Bashar. He says, "The whole process of understanding is not the idea of learning something new, but the process of remembering more and more of what you already are."
Nice.
Yes.
I like that.
Right? So,
yep.
Sorry to jump in there, Lisa, but I thought that needed to be said.
No, don't apologise. It's perfect. And it goes back to what Lois was saying earlier. We all know everything we need to know. We just have to remember it, and we can remember that by consciously choosing to remember, asking the question of ourselves, for sure. So who have I not given a minute to? Heather, are you still with us?
I'm here.
Is there anything parting comments you'd like to leave us with?
Just that we got a lot of doing to go and do. So I'm sitting here formulating in my brain as you guys are giving your parting comment.
Oh, great. Yeah, the fun is
Thank you.
really starting. So,
A lot of doing to do.
A lot of doing to do. Barbara.
I just want to really encourage everyone and their brother and their sister and their best friend and their uncle and their aunt to go and visit the Facebook opt-in page, and let's really take this viral and get the information out in a really cool social media kind of way.
Lovely. Thank you. All right, guys, we will see you next week, either on this show or the Monday night show, or both. Get your photos in to opt in. Keep doing and being. And what a ride. Have lots of fun. Have fun. God, have so much fun with it. Tell them they're foreclosed. Yeah. Talk to you all soon.
Bye.
Talk to you later.
Bye, everyone. Go, Chris. Tell them what?
Tell them you're dealing with the trustee. They're foreclosed.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we're going to go out with a song, Free Like Me. La, 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 la. How do you live your life? Working 9 to 5, you're barely alive. In your self-made prison, where has gone your wisdom and your freedom to fly? 'Cause I've been to many places, I've seen so many faces, I've seen the world, and it's a beautiful place to be. I've been to many places, I've seen so many faces, I've seen the world, and it's a beautiful place to be if you are free. Free like me, free like me, free, yeah. Go somewhere far away, somewhere they don't know, and you can find yourself again. Take that fearful step, take that fearful leap, then I wish it will flow so sweetly, 'cause I